viewers, welcome to another episode of the Nanaya Yabua Show. I'm your host, Nanaya Yabua, and I have with me today Gabe Odartei. Gabe
Yes.
is an amazing. Come again?
No, I said yes, ma'am.
Oh. So Gabe is an amazing human being. I've known him within the Ghanaian Canadian community for decades. He is at the root of community development activism. He has a foundation. He is the voice of the community, GhanaLinx TV. But most important, where my heart is children's literature. That is where this majority of this conversation is going to be children's literature. Dave, sorry, I said Dave. Gabe, 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 is it Maku Studios?
Marco
Yes.
Studios, yes.
Maku Studios. Maku Studios is the studios that produce Mansa Family, the cartoon series, and it's
Mhm.
one of the pioneering animated series talking about issues that pertains to Black Canadians, African Canadians, or most especially Ghanaian Canadians. So I am excited to have you on this podcast. And if you don't know, I'm telling you, this podcast is about inspiration, it's about motivation, and it's about us telling our stories. So
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate your introduction. And I actually wanted to come on your show because of what it's about, like inspiring people and telling stories, because that's something that I'm really passionate about. So thank you.
thank you. I'm going to take you back to a time somewhere, I think in Brampton, and you needed a host to interview John Dumelo, and you put me on the spot.
Yes. I remember.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'd like to say that that was part of my beginning journey.
Oh wow.
And if I'm telling my story, you are part of that narrative.
Wow,
So
that's very nice to know. See, these are the little stories that keeps us going. It's good to hear these
most
things.
definitely, most definitely. So for those that don't know you, those that are outside our community, those that are interested in, say, narratives or the stories that you tell with the Mansa family on the show,
Mhm.
nobody grows up in a vacuum. Could you please give us a little bit of your background story? What is your origin story?
Um, well, it depends where we want to take it, but basically, I grew up in Canada. I came here when I was about 13, so I've been
Mm-hmm.
here. Yesterday was actually, coincidentally, yesterday was my 25th um, anniversary in Canada.
25th?
Yeah.
Ah, so I
So,
senior you by 1 year.
oh, okay, nice. So you guys are the pioneers. We've been here long.
No, mine is 26 years here.
Yeah.
And I came in, actually, we arrived February 23rd. So
No way.
exactly 26 years. Yeah.
So
Today
today,
is an
you
anniversary.
see, you see, yesterday was me. There you go.
Yesterday
So
was you, today is me.
yeah, so I've always been, even growing up in Ghana, I've always been interested in arts and community work.
Mhm.
So like I used to be involved in plays and stuff like that when I was
Yeah.
a kid, and then when I came here, and then I discovered that we had a Ghanaian community, I wanted to be
Hmm.
part of it because that's just part of who I am. So as you already know, before starting Marco Productions, I had another company. I still have another
Hmm.
company called GhanaLinx Media, and the
Yeah.
whole idea was to bridge the gap between Ghana and Canada. And back then,
Hmm.
this was before social media was what it was. So my goal was to
Yeah.
promote Ghana here in Canada. So I've always been involved in those things. And then
Hmm.
I started doing movie premieres where we showcase in African movies in Canada. So that's where the John DeMello thing comes in that you're
Yeah.
talking. And then
Yeah.
over time, I got into music, where now I'm managing music artists, in the diaspora. So I've always been involved somehow in the arts. But then animation is just something that I'm really passionate about. I love the
Hmm.
process of doing animation. And so I
Hmm.
started my new company, Marco Productions, and we specialize just on video and animation productions.
Mm-hmm.
So so besides my show, I've actually done work for other people, whether it's an artist or a movie star, different things. We've done commercials for a dentist in
Mm-hmm.
animation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so with my show though, the Mansa Family Show, what inspires me to do this is because as we all got older, people start having kids. My friends, everybody around me, we start having
Mm-hmm.
children. I realized that there's nothing, the kids watch all these shows on the tablets and on TV, but there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing with African
Yeah.
children where they can really relate to. So I wanted to, to start that, and that's what inspires the show. So um, most of the characters on the show are actually people that I know in real life that I use as inspiration to do it, right? So I
So
don't know if yeah.
I think for those of us who may be close enough to around you, see that I think is the father you with the African T-shirt. I saw, oh,
It
that
is me.
it
It
looks
is me.
so familiar. I think I know this man.
That is
And
me.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So you know what? Before we go ahead, let's give a shout out to the characters or the voice actors
Yes, yes,
within
yes,
the
yes.
community. I think we need to honor their work and make them aware
Oh
that
yeah,
we really do
I'm
appreciate
glad
them.
you said that because without them there will be no show.
Mm-hmm,
And this is right now because these are pilot episodes, it's kind of
mm-hmm,
like they're doing this on a volunteer basis. So I
mm-hmm,
really appreciate my voice actors. Majority of them are actually they've never done this before. They're new, right?
mm-hmm,
So they're learning how to do this. But
mm-hmm,
one of them that I have, this Jamaican actor, he's actually a professional voice actor. So he went to school for this stuff, and he plays the police officer in the show. So
mm-hmm.
you can tell the
Uncle
difference.
Kwame.
Yeah, you can tell the difference between him and my
Yes,
upcoming. But I'm really glad, especially the young ones, getting them
yes.
involved in this. It's actually great. So thank you. Big shout outs to my voice actors and the
Mm-hmm.
animators as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I look at the plethora of themes on the show, um, I want you, in your own words, to give the audience that watch. Majority of the audience, surprisingly, I'm in Canada, but majority are in the US, in Ghana, in Nigeria, and UK.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't ask me how this algorithm works, but
No, no.
it's
Yeah.
whatever.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Mhm,
So I mean, even though the family is kind of based in a fictitious city, like a fictional city in
mhm,
Canada, right? Like they're supposed to
mhm,
be in Canada. That's why we have an episode about Canadian Black history and stuff
mhm,
like that. But they're supposed to be a family in the diaspora. So maybe
mhm,
people in the UK might relate to it as well because you can tell the family lives in abroad.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
But yeah, so that's a good thing that they're also liking it because once we actually become a big show, like a big production, we can do episodes where they go to the UK, connect with. So there's different things we would like to do, but right now we're just starting. So yeah, hopefully we get more support to be able to do
Yeah.
more.
So what was so let's take we're still in Black History Month, February. So
Yeah.
shout out to our Black Futures, Black Excellence. This is part of, Black
Mm-hmm.
Excellence ongoing. Um so with the theme of the Black History show, what did you really want to put across to people watching that particular episode?
Well, I wanted to celebrate some of our pioneers and people that have paved the way here in Canada, Black people who have paved the way here in Canada, and there's notable names like Jean Augustine, the first
Yeah.
Black MP and stuff like. So I just wanted to educate the young ones about why
Mhm.
we celebrate Black history in the first place. Right? But
Okay,
at the
great.
same time, the kids have to be able to enjoy it and be entertaining because it can't
Mhm.
be so educational that we lose the entertainment aspect
Mhm.
of it, and also the fact that our audience are also children. So I try to
Yeah.
balance it out.
But the mama was not easy.
No,
The character of the mom is not easy, but there's an aspect that the dad ran away from that I thought it could be honed in, maybe for the adults on budgeting.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So the writer of the show, my friend, big shout outs to my friend MK. He likes those kind of topics, budgeting and financial literacy and
Yeah.
those. So he tries to find a way to put a little bit of that in there as well.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. So we have
So
a whole bunch of topics, ready to do. We just haven't done, but over time we hope to, do more.
it's in the works. In
Yeah.
the works. It's in the works. So we've talked about Marcus Studios, these topics that you do, how do we call it, right? Do normally with such creations, you are an individual with that mind, with that mindset, with that inspiration to bring this to light.
Hmm.
It's beautiful for us to watch the end result. That is us watching that.
Hmm.
I want to understand some of the difficulties, the challenges, and the successes that you also have gotten. So, as we talk about the challenges, we also look at the successes.
Success. Well, animation is a very expensive thing to do, just because there are so many different components to it.
Mm,
Um, like I said, my voice actors, luckily right now, they're kind of volunteers. But
mhm,
one of the challenges would be um, getting all of us in the studio at the same time to properly act, because you have to still act while you're recording their voices. They have to be in character and do it
mhm,
properly. And sometimes that becomes a challenge, especially when you're not compensating them for their time, right?
mhm,
So some of them don't even live in the city, so they have to record
mhm,
their phones, and then we have to edit it and make it sound better. So some of the challenges will be just getting everybody together so that we can produce it on time, and
mhm,
also I guess another challenge would be more resources. If we had more resources, we can be more consistent, whereby maybe every couple of months we produce a new episode, that kind of thing.
mhm,
Maybe make it even longer than 15 minutes.
mhm,
So that's something that definitely, for now, it's a challenge. And then I guess the third one I'd say would be just getting people to really, especially our own people, like Ghanaians and people in the community that know us. It would be nice to for them to really embrace it and share it and to, look at it as one of their own, because it is all the voice actors are Ghanaian. They're
mhm,
most of them anyways, and the producer myself being Ghanaian, it'd be nice to see some of the challenges is just lack of, I guess, support in that way. Because when I meet other people like the Caribbeans and others, and they see the
mhm.
show, the way they react to it,
Yeah.
it's like, wow, we have something like this in Canada, you
Mhm,
know. And so, yeah, so that's one thing we need. We need more eyeballs on it.
mhm.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So, you talk about needing more eyeballs on it. For you personally, or for as a producer, do you have a marketing concept, theme, marketing, thing you've put together to disseminate the,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely, definitely. There's a lot of, I mean, there's more marketing and promotions we need to do. I still feel that because it's new and we only have pilot episodes on YouTube, we can put a little bit of resources or find budgets into marketing, the digital marketing. We also
Hmm.
have merchandise, like you can see. I have the sweaters on. I have a whole
Yeah.
bunch. The children, really love it, so we've
Hmm.
produced merchandise. We even have backpacks, but that one is not out to the public yet. But we
Hmm.
have children's backpacks. We have eventually we can even do dolls, stuff like that. But and then last Christmas we released a Christmas book, children's book, based off the
Oh,
show.
yes, that is true. I
Yeah,
don't have my copy
I
here,
have to get you a
but
copy. Yeah.
yes,
So we
I
had a
got my
children's book,
copy.
and people really liked that. Even though it came out late, like it came out maybe 3 weeks before Christmas, right? But
Hmm.
now we know that this year I can put it in the bookstores early.
Hmm.
So that was a success in a way that even in a short period of time we sold, over 50 books,
Hmm.
and now people are calling, showing interest in that. So
Hmm.
yeah, so there's a lot of positives and a few challenges, but those challenges are definitely things that I think are solvable
Mm-hmm.
over time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Viewers, you're watching the Nanaya Yabua podcast with Gabe. Gabe, Gabe, I don't know
yes,
if you are watching in the middle, is an entrepreneur, mm, is a I think what was the word I used? Is an esteemed storyteller, and within a Ghanaian Canadian community here in Canada, he is, at least from my books or the person that I know, doing animation storytelling for our community children and other, children at
yeah,
large. And Maku, you can find it on YouTube, Mansa
definitely
Family Show.
Marco Studios. Yeah, the Mansa Family Show. So it's not even so the way we've positioned the show. It's more like it's for all Black people in Canada. You
Mm-hmm,
know, so like for example, the neighbors are Nigerian on
mm-hmm.
purpose. You're right.
Who is your neighbor in there?
You mean like who's the character, the inspiration?
Yes.
Do you who guess who it is? Do you probably know the person if you look at him very well. But he's a Nigerian, like he's not the voice, but he's the character.
Nigerian entrepreneur
Yes.
par excellence. Okay, I think I know who it is.
Yes. So and yeah, so we have that, you know, I have people like Femi Lawson in there. You know, so I
Mm-hmm,
try to and then I also have another family that's like Jamaican.
mm-hmm.
So as we grow, I just want to make it more like a multicultural,
Inclusive.
inclusive for
Inclusive.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. That
yeah,
is beautiful. That is great.
yeah.
So as we're talking about storytelling and everything, let me kind of focus the question: why African storytelling? Why?
Hmm. Well, first, I think we have a lot of stories that haven't been told. Like growing up, you know, we even those Anansi stories and all those things. Now, over here, there's so many shows for children, and a lot of kids here. You know, that's just the way the world is. They're all on their tablets. 2 years old, they know how to use a smartphone before they can even read, right? Because there's all these shows for them. But I don't see any shows where it's really telling our stories, and I just felt like there's a void there. There's a need for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so even the names that we use are carefully selected, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that we can tell our use our names, and also if you pay attention to the fashion in the show, what the characters are wearing, it's all carefully selected, promoting African fashion, right? The
Mm-hmm.
music. So through this storytelling, you can tell different things: music, fashion, even whether it's folk tales or jokes, you know,
Mm-hmm.
all those different little things. So that's really what inspires the show, I'd say.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. So
Yeah.
for the you did mention there are challenges with funding and all those things. I think what I'm going to ask is whether any investors or people who are interested in this dream, if they are interested in this dream that you have, or it's not a dream.
No, it's
Marco
work in
Studio,
progress. It's work in
it's
progress.
work in
Yeah.
progress. Yes.
Yeah.
So I recount that word back. It's not a
Mhm.
dream. If people are interested in supporting this, how do they get through? How do they connect? How do they contact? What are
Yes.
some of the yes?
Definitely, you know, I'm welcoming investors. I have this other entrepreneur who has a platform, kind of like Netflix. He's a Ghanaian guy. He has a
Mm-hmm,
streaming platform, so he has all our episodes there, and that's his way of promoting it right on the show.
mm-hmm,
And he's actually shown interest in eventually doing more episodes with us
mm-hmm,
for his
mm-hmm.
platform. But if anybody is interested, definitely I can be reached at, you know, different places. My email address. I'm not sure if you can put the email on the screen, but it's info@makuproductions.com.
Please don't test my technical expertise. Thank you.
So info@makuproductions.com, MAKU productions.com. They can be reached. I can be reached there.
Mhm,
I have actually received a couple of investments, but that's not for the show. That's for my movie that I'm also working on, my production
mhm.
that's coming out later this year. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
yeah,
I
that's
am looking forward to that.
my biggest project ever, and I can't wait as well. And the
And that's
beautiful
also an animated series.
animated,
Or
it's a movie, a full movie. Um, about an
oh,
African
sorry, an animated movie.
animated movie about an African warrior princess. So,
Mm-hmm,
and that one, the beauty about it is that it's been produced in Ghana with like
mm-hmm,
60 people. So we're creating opportunities for all these young people who are
mm-hmm,
actually in animation. And also for them, this is their chance to show the world that we can do what you see in Hollywood and stuff like
mm-hmm,
that, Disney and all that, like the quality of animation. That one's a little different from the show.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Why did you choose to take the animation back to Ghana?
well, I did a lot of research, and when I came across the studio and I saw the work they can do, I was very impressed because the whole country animation is very new. There's about only 3 studios in Ghana, and this
Mm-hmm,
is, I would say, in my opinion, this is the biggest one so far.
mm-hmm,
So this movie is actually gonna show the world what they can do as far as animation. And also, one thing I like about them is that they're a school. It's an actual
mm-hmm.
animation school, and then when they graduate, they get to work. They get opportunities to work in animation. So, yeah, so we partnered up about 3 years ago, and we've been working on this film since then.
As we're talking about animation and everything, I remember years ago, during the earlier onset of doing this podcast, I had I had a guest on, and we were talking about moving forward the future of and doing all these animations
Hmm.
for children. I think what's his name, Yemi Black, years
Yeah.
ago.
Oh, okay. I
Yes,
see.
yes,
I see. Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
And as I hear you speak, it's like it feels like a deja vu of the reality of a conversation that was had. So I'm really honored. I'm really proud of you
That's
with
very. Thank
everything.
you. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Yeah, it's been a journey. Before I even got into animation, I was selling. I don't know if you remember, but I had Christmas cards with like cartoon characters of it. So like the 3 wise men, stuff like that, Mary and the baby. So I had Christmas cards where I was selling, and yeah. So for me, I think one of the main thing is the fact that the production is being done by our own people. That's
Mhm.
actually one of the main reasons I do this animation stuff. Like I said with the movie, I have videos of like 40 students in a classroom, and they're all working on this project.
Mhm.
That's actually I can't wait for us to get more opportunities because with the Mansa Family Show, eventually I would like that team in Ghana to produce it because if they produced it, it would be like watching TV quality like The Simpsons, like TV quality work. Right now, what we
Yes.
have is more like um, just to introduce our characters and the stories. That's what we
Mhm.
have at the moment. But eventually, we're gonna turn into real animation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you have to write the auntie that comes to visit occasionally character. That
No
will be me.
worries. No problem. As long as you're ready for the voice acting, we're always welcoming new people, So,
I do have the studio, so that
oh yeah,
uh,
that's right. That's right.
that
You already
is
have a
not a.
studio.
Do you want
Okay.
to show? Where's the
Um,
mic? Yes.
there you go. That's all you need. That's all you
That
need. So you know what? I'm gonna put your name on our list of voice actors.
I
You
have hired myself, people. I am a storyteller. I
you
have
are.
hired
You are.
myself.
I mean,
Get
and you can also. I know because I know you as a storyteller. You can actually co-write an episode. I can talk to my co-writer. You know.
We
Mhm.
are not going to have that conversation on here right now.
Yeah, that's true. We can talk about that on another day.
We will talk about
Yeah,
that right now
yeah.
because we do have unfinished work
That's right.
sitting
That's
there.
right.
We
That's right.
we will definitely, as time goes on, we are
We'll do
all,
something.
coming
Yeah.
together. We will do that. We
Do
will do
something.
that.
Sure.
So community work,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the you doing community, you doing this, you have you work full time and you have this going. Another key part of conversation that I love to have is health and health, mental health,
Mm-hmm.
general health and mental health, because I you have to be able to
Balance everything. Yeah.
balance it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
Yeah, definitely. It's a good question. It's not easy as a young entrepreneur trying to do all these things. And I guess for me, community work kind of helps in a way because the becomes my family, and I get to meet different people, get to know different people. So, and also now I get my family has become my main support system. So sometimes if I need to get away, I just get out of the city, go spend time with my family for a while, and then come back because it does take a toll on you after a while, especially
Mhm,
when you have multiple projects going on and you're also passionate about community things,
mhm,
So yeah, so it could be a little, challenging, but I think for me, I just now I'm learning how to take it easy and not do everything. Because before you want to be everywhere and that kind of thing, but now I'm more, I pick my battles, let's say. Um, Oh yeah, so I'm not everywhere anymore.
So March 9th, you're not going to the solidarity, or you are going to solidarity.
No, yeah, but but our community is a very as big as it is. It seems like we all know each other as well, like the people that are involved, and we become kind of like brothers. Like I have friends who become kind of like my brothers,
Mhm, mhm,
and
mhm,
that helps too. Yeah.
mhm. That's good. That's good. So we've talked about mental health and finding that balance. So if a young person with a dream or an idea comes to you, and I'm going to use our, um, and say Uncle Gabe, or Uncle Gabriel.
No, everybody's an uncle. Yeah, I'm an uncle now. I guess.
Yes, you are an uncle now. You
Yeah.
you were an uncle then, but you didn't
Now,
realize. But
now I'm
then
an
now
uncle.
our children, uh, my
They're all
son, if you
yeah.
remember him, is 6 foot tall.
He's taller than me.
You
Hmm.
haven't seen them in a long time. He's 6 foot tall. So when
Wow.
he sees you, he's calling you uncle.
So cool. Meanwhile, I have to look up to him, man.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
Cool.
exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when a young person like him comes to you and say, "Uncle, this is what I'm thinking and whatnot," what is your best advice?
Well, if they want to be like get into entrepreneurship, you mean?
Entrepreneurship, do what you do and follow in
Um,
your footsteps, because
oh,
they see that it's something that they would like to do.
well, I would say they have to really know why they want to do this because there's times where you really feel like giving up, and you have to remind yourself of your why. What drives you. Why did you choose to volunteer your time when you could be hanging out with friends or at home chilling? Why do you want to drive, get out of your house, and go and do volunteer work? Or
Mhm,
even the show that I'm doing, it's not making at the moment. It's not what makes me money, but I enjoy doing it. To go to the studio, record them, do all that, and then work with my animators. For us, it's rewarding when people are giving us feedback, right? When they're watching it. So you have to really know your why because if you're coming in for maybe fame, let's say you want to be popular and that's why you're doing it, you might get disappointed because maybe your first 10 episodes might not make you popular or get you fame. And then you might say,
mhm,
no, this is not for me. I
mhm,
remember somebody even asked me the other day, "Oh, I haven't. It seems like the show has been quiet. I haven't heard much about it." And I told them that's because we're coming out with a new season very soon,
mhm,
and I've been
Mhm.
focused on my film, right?
Mhm.
So they want to see more, and
Mhm.
that's good to know. But as a
Mhm.
young person, so there's that, and then obviously you need to have your main income. So like you said, I'm still working.
Mhm.
Eventually, I'd like to do this. Obviously, like this is my
Full
passion.
time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but in the meantime, make sure you have what's paying your bills, and then do this more like treat it like a business, but at the same time, you have to be passionate about it.
Mhm.
I'll
Mhm.
say
It's when you said one have to know their why.
that.
That is very important. That is a conversation that, for the most part, within our communities, many people don't know their why. It took me
Yeah.
time to, get to know my why. And also, asking yourself, if you were uninterrupted, if you were not doing working where you're working as your main source of income, who
Mhm.
would you be? In a sense, who would you be uninterrupted?
Like, who would I be? You mean like to mention a specific name of a person?
No, 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 no. Like yourself.
Oh, I definitely would like to be like a producer where I'm producing films. I have my shows, and
Mhm.
also a community activist. So like, which I'm kind of doing already, but I just want to do more.
On
Like
a
on
bigger
a larger
scale. Yeah.
scale, like like the way right now the community wants to build a community center. If I was in a
Yes.
position to help get that started, I'll be doing things like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
While creating more jobs for people back home through the production
Hmm.
work and that kind of thing. Yeah.
You still have energy for community. That is wonderful, because I got tired.
I know you, like I said, you're the pioneers. You guys were there before I came in. If you
Thank
know,
you.
it's not
we,
easy, right?
we put in solid
Yeah,
decades.
you have.
So
Right now,
we
I'm kind
live
of
in it.
like I said, not everything I can be part of. There's a lot, and now we're growing, right? The
Hmm.
community is
Hmm.
growing,
Yeah.
so there's more responsibility. So we hope to get more volunteers coming in
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
support. Yeah.
I think when I asked that question and you said knowing your why,
Mhm.
I'm going to go back to it, because it also, put something in my mind. It dragged my mind to you talking about when you were growing up in school, you enjoy doing drama
Mhm.
and all those other
Arts,
things.
the arts and stuff. Yeah.
Arts, yes. And I think you and I, when you were saying it, I was nodding in my head. You and I have a similar um narrative, beginning story.
Okay.
In class 5, or what we'll say grade 5 here, I
Yeah.
was in a drama group.
Okay.
And when I finished high school, I was in a drama group as well. And when I came here, I was on the spoken word stage. I
Yes.
was
That one I know. You've always been on the stages.
I've always been on the stages, yes, in one form or the other.
Yeah.
So it's naturally that I veer towards this, I am in this space.
That's
But
right.
when I ask you, for instance, if anybody's listening, if you're young, I want you to take this very, very important, this message important. I sometimes believe I veered off course by circumstances of life
Mm-hmm.
that made me make the choice to go into healthcare. But that does not mean that my passion for either journalism, that
Oh, the
I
music.
didn't go to
Yeah.
do, my passion for script writing, for all poetry, all these creative aspects
Hmm.
fell off.
Well, the beauty about the times that we're in now is that you can still do these things.
You could still do it. So,
Yeah.
as say, Gabe, you and I are working to pay the bills,
Yes.
the creativity aspect is also enhanced.
Definitely.
And when it comes to mental health, this is one of the key things I tell people. This is my mental health balance,
It is. It
people.
is. It is. I mean, I can't imagine just going to work, come home, and just watch TV all day, sit home, and have nothing going on. It's like I just can't imagine myself like that. So this is actually part of it is a mental health thing, doing these things, communicating with leaders of the community and stuff like that. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think it helps, yeah. And
Yeah.
even with the show, just knowing that the children love it, like when I
Mm-hmm.
see the way kids react to it, that's
Mm-hmm.
actually like my main joy, because I do it for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
And people, it's not everything that immediately brings money.
definitely not. Because if you go for that, that's one thing I should have mentioned too. Besides knowing your why and be trying to be maybe popular or known, you can't expect money right away.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't expect that. Oh, especially something like this, because this
Mm-hmm.
is you're not selling. There's no buying or selling here.
Mm-hmm.
Literally,
Mm-hmm.
it's a show that you need audience to watch. So money is
Mm-hmm.
something that will come with time and consistency, but that shouldn't be your main motivator because then you'll get discouraged.
That is true.
Yeah,
Time is your best friend. Consistency and persistence is equally your best friend.
sure.
Otherwise, you are not going anywhere. I am not going anywhere. We are not going
Oh
anywhere.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you've been very consistent over the years. Like to see you having a show now, like I mean, you just mentioned it yourself. I didn't know you were doing drama and stuff in school, but just hearing you say it, I can see how that links to what you do, the poetry and spoken word, and now you have a show and it fits perfectly with you with where you are. So that's good. That's good to know.
It took time growing into it, so it's beautiful. It's beautiful to know. It's beautiful to know.
Yeah.
Wow. So for the next, I asked this question. People answer it differently. I don't know how your answer is going to be, but I'm going to shoot it.
Okay.
In the next couple of years ahead, looking forward,
Mm-hmm.
on what stage do you want the show to be? And I think you've touched a bit on it, creating jobs in Ghana and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of digging further.
Um. Well, I
What
see
is
this.
it?
I see this show as kind of like the black version of like African version of the Simpsons.
Mm,
So I would love to see it on TV, cable television, or
mhm,
one of these streaming syndicated platforms where they can pick it up and say, we need to do 4 or 5 seasons of this because we love what we're seeing, right?
mhm,
So that we can tell
mhm,
a lot more stories. Because even though, for example, even though I have a Christmas episode on YouTube, there are
mhm,
way more different stories we can tell.
mhm,
It's that time of the year, or
mhm,
different things. So for me, in a few years, I just hope that this becomes an actual, no longer a pilot episode on YouTube, and an actual show where you know we have a lot of viewers, millions of views. We have
mhm.
merchandise out there. People are the children are loving it. They feel like themselves. I have a video of one of my friends' daughter, and when she's holding the sweater, and she's like, "This is my mom. This is my dad." So she sees herself in it. And
Wow.
that's the goal, really. Yeah. So that's where I see it in a few years.
Nice. Big, 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 big. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. So I will not take much of your time. This has been so, so, so
Yeah.
appreciative, Gabe.
Thank you so
Um,
much. I
once
really.
again,
Hmm.
once again, give us the YouTube where to find Mansa Family Show
Yes.
and how to connect with you if there is a program or people want to get to know you. And I will get that information and put it in the links
Yeah.
wherever these. Yeah.
So we're on social media as Maku Studios,
Mhm,
and also YouTube. If you type in Maku Studios, you should see our channel. But the
mhm,
show, the Mansa Family, Mansa is Mansa, so the Mansa Family Show. I think that you should be able to find us on all social networks. Just
mhm,
typing in those keywords. Yeah, and also like I said, you can email me at info@makuproductions.com
mhm.
if you need me. Yeah.
You know what I didn't ask, and let me ask
Mhm.
this before I let you go. Mansa. Why the name Mansa?
Well, first of all, I needed a name that would be easy for people to pronounce. People who are not from Ghana or even Africa to pronounce, right? And at the same time, I also need a generic name that doesn't really, because if we hear the name Mansa, which culture or tribe from Ghana would you think they're from?
I know they are Akan speaking, but when I hear, the reason
Hmm.
why I asked that question is Mansa is feminine, third girl. So
Is it?
yes, and in
Okay,
my
that
head
I didn't
I'm
know.
thinking Mensa. If we
Right.
go with the
So,
yes,
yes, I could have done the Mensa family.
Mensa,
So I purposely didn't
yes.
want to use Mensa
Ah,
because at the same time too, I needed other African countries to kind of feel like it's theirs, like they can relate to. You know, I didn't want to just make it a Ghanaian thing, so I chose Mansa family. But yeah, but that was the whole thing. I was thinking of Mensa, but then I said no, let me change it and make
then
it
this
yeah.
song comes into my head. Mansa, whatever. Yanko, ya Mansa, what?
Bisakede.
Oh, it's Bisake. So that is the entertainment factor for me. So that also
Yeah,
pops in my head, and it's like, oh, okay. So every time I see the Mansa, the name, it just takes me
Mansa.
to the. Maybe this is a sign he has to be on the show too.
Yeah, he can do a song for us.
Or he can be the uncle coming to visit.
For sure, you know. Yeah, definitely. So
Yes.
right now we have so many people that are looking to become voice actors. It just
Hmm.
we haven't brought them on, you know.
Hmm.
We haven't created these characters yet.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to have this beautiful conversation with
Thank
you.
you so much.
My
My pleasure.
viewers appreciate, and we'll keep supporting you to the best of our ability. So keep doing what you
Thank you.
do and do it as beautifully and magnificent as you doing it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I will ask all your viewers to subscribe because their subscriptions also encourages us to keep doing what we're doing. So I appreciate you inviting me to your show. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.